Hi everybody, in this video we're going to look at environment designs. So what I've done is I've created a template here for you to use, and this template has a value study on the left here where we can eyedrop to get these shades of gray or black. You can see here we have a layer that is kind of like a framed layer, so it's a big black layer that's been cut out a few times, 3 times, and that reveals what's beneath, which is the background. Now I'm just going to make a new layer right away and put this in between. So now whatever I paint will go right behind the frame, so it will automatically have a nice framed environment design. So how do we get started? Well, the first thing you got to know is that as things go back, they get lighter, and we call that atmospheric haze. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a very light shade, and this one might be just a little too light. It'll work, but I'm going to just go with this shade first here. So it's important to just use a round brush. That's what we're going to use right now, and we're just going to kind of set down a ground plane. And so I'm just going to paint across here with this hard round brush. I'm using a fairly large brush, right? You can see that. And maybe I'm just going to add something of interest here. And that's it. Remember, we're not trying to paint anything at this point. Our focal point is going to be the custom shapes that we made in the previous video. So it's important not to try to paint anything at all, except for interesting shapes and good composition. We're not going to be trying to paint trees or a house. There's nothing like that. Just shapes at this point. Okay, so now that I've set down my ground plane, I'm going to go to the next shade. This was this shade, right? And now this shade, I'm going to make sure that I have some type of overlap that jets above this. Okay, so you can see now this is in front of this. Done. So now I'm going to get the next one, and here you can see this is going to go in front of, well, in this case it goes in front of both. Okay. And as I said, we're not trying to paint anything except for interesting shapes. Now that I have this done, this is a thumbnail. This is a successful thumbnail. It's showing depth. It has 3 levels of depth. I could even go with a black and maybe paint something else here, but I'm not going to. This one is perfect for now. At this point, what I'm going to do is roll down my brush size just a little bit. And the first thing I like to attack is this horizon line. Just looks a little too boring and it's a little bit too straight. So I'm going to eyedrop this color here. I'm just going to kind of, go with the same types of shapes that I've been using up till now. Okay, and I'm going to begin to work into possibly this shape a little bit, give it a little bit more interest. Okay, and we'll see what that is and see what comes about. And remember to change your brush size, so I'm also going to go just a little bit smaller than this. This is kind of what we learned when we did the shapes. If you make things smaller, it helps to give something else size, right? So the bigger thing size. So here I'm going to just kind of add a little bit more detail with these shapes here. And that is it. So at this point, this is all I want to do. And what I'm going to do, I have the levels of depth I like. I'm going to move to the next one. Because this is going to be pushed later when we add our custom shape. And I'm not doing that right now. We're just painting environments. So let's try something different this time. So moving on to the next one, bringing up my brush size again. Maybe this time I'm going to work, over here. So get down that ground plane. It's more of a hill this time. Something here. All right, now I'm going to move to the next shape here, the next shade of gray. Okay, and the next one. color this whole thing in. You can see just this side here of this mountain possibly. And I'm going to come back to this color. I'm going to make this a little bit, remember working that horizon line a little bit more. Okay, there's something here now. And that's good. I'm going to move to the next one. So it's important to get many thumbs because we're only going to push the one that we like the best. Or we might push like 2 of them. So let's go to the next one here. And this time, let's see, we'll do something, again, a little bit different. Okay, let's do a little bigger brush here. Now think about composition, rule of thirds. This time we've got a higher horizon line. Okay, not all these are going to be successful, and that's why we paint a bunch. Right now I'm not loving this one here, but all right. So there's another one. Okay. What I want you to stay away from is this. I'm going to just delete this, and I'm going to show you one of the pitfalls that a beginning student will have is they'll do this. They won't have the overlap, so they'll maybe make something interesting here. And for time purposes, I'm just going to fill bucket this. Okay, and then they'll move to the next one, and they'll do this. Okay, and then they'll take the next one. And this is called layer caking. So yes, it kind of looks like this is coming forward. However, it doesn't appear that way because there's no overlap. Now this might be a way to start though, and I don't mind it starting this way. And this is what I mean. I could push this up, right? It's bigger now. Okay, and then maybe this shoots over, and see now I'm bringing it over and overlapping that previous layer, right? And this one too is going to kind of overlap these two. You can see how this is happening now. So this, you can start that way and then push them over each other, and you kind of see how I made this work, right? Okay, and this is the thing of interest in the background. Sometimes I'll put like I'll use the white, and I'll create kind of like if this is kind of a city, maybe it has some lights coming through here, right? And really this is where then we'll choose our best, and we'll push it further with our custom shapes and do all the other types of techniques. But this is just the thumbnails of how to paint. So find my template on my classroom, and good luck and give it a try.